On the night the power went out, the neighborhood was wrapped in silence. Streetlights dim, windows black, and I came home earlier than planned and heard something no husband should ever hear. My name is Dewey. I'm 34. My wife, Ellie. We've been together for 8 years, married for 6. We met at a New Year's Eve party back when people still believed in fate and fireworks. We were happy once, even though lately between the stress of work, the bills, and the way Ellie always seemed mentally elsewhere, I thought it was just what long marriages looked like. A phase, a slump, nothing more. Until that night. She told me she'd be staying in, scheduled power outage, utility maintenance, or something like that. I had plans to meet up with the guys, but those fell through last minute. My phone was nearly dead, so I didn't text her. Didn't think I needed to. I used the backup key, walked in. The house was pitch black, only a faint silver of moonlight slipping through the window. Then I heard laughter. Not Ellie's usual laugh, not the real one I fell in love with. This was sharp, high-pitched, the kind of laugh she used when she wanted to impress someone. Someone new, someone she shouldn't. Then, a man's voice, familiar, Eduardo, the neighbor who moved in less than a year ago. I used to think he was a good guy, until right then. I stood in the shadows, heart pounding, blood frozen, as Ellie giggled and whispered, "Once the life insurance money clears next month, you and I can finally be together." Then came a soft clink of glasses, a toast to my death. That moment didn't just shatter me, it revealed a truth I couldn't unhear. This wasn't just betrayal, this was a plan, an endgame. I stood still for a few more seconds, caught in the collapse of everything I believed in. But instead of barging in, instead of yelling, I did the last thing anyone would expect. I walked away. I drove around aimlessly for 30 minutes, headlights carving the dark streets, pulled into a corner store, bought flashlights, bottled water, a few snacks, and at exactly 7 p.m., I came back. Knocked. Called her name like nothing happened. Ellie opened the door, stepping out from the kitchen with a forced smile. "Oh, you're back early. Thought you were out with the guys." I smiled back, handed her a flashlight. "Plans got canceled. You and Eduardo had dinner. Nice timing. I'm starving too." Eduardo looked like a deer in headlights. He stammered something, grabbed his jacket, and left. Ellie didn't stop him. I sat down, ate dinner, chatted like I was still the clueless, doting husband. But in my head, wheels were turning. I wasn't going to be the victim in this story. I was going to rewrite the ending. From that night on, Ellie had no idea that every glance, every smile, every fake "I love you" was being watched under a microscope. Not by a husband, but by a man who'd heard her death wish whispered in the dark and had chosen to survive. She kept playing the role of the perfect wife. Mornings she brought me coffee and asked, "Did you sleep well, babe?" Nights she curled up in my arms and whispered, "Was today hard?" If I hadn't heard what she said that night, I might have believed her too. But I knew. I knew exactly who she was now. This woman was no longer the Ellie I once loved. She was a flawless replica, except for one small detail. She wanted me dead. 3 days after the blackout, Ellie started bringing up the life insurance. "Babe, we should double-check your policy paperwork. Didn't I file for that premium increase a few weeks ago?" I smiled, playing the role of the clueless husband. "Oh, right, I totally forgot. You're always better at that stuff than I am." That night, I quietly logged into my online insurance account. Just as I suspected, my life insurance had recently been raised to $500,000, approved just 3 weeks ago. "Just in case something unexpected happens," she'd said, and in her version of unexpected, that something was me. So I began moving. Step 1. Finance. I opened a separate bank account, slowly transferred most of the money from our joint account, bit by bit over several days so it wouldn't raise flags. Step 2. Evidence. I ordered 2 micro cameras off Amazon, one in the living room, one in the kitchen, the places she and Eduardo seemed to talk the most. Step 3. Backup. I created a burner email account. Every screenshot, voice memo, video clip. I backed it up there, just in case. If anything happened to me, my accident would leave a trail. One night while she was asleep, I tried to access her phone. It was locked with a new passcode. Of course it was. Then the next day, while helping her clean out her purse, I found a small, unmarked bottle. Fine white powder inside. It wasn't medication. It wasn't makeup. "What's this?" I asked. She paused and then smiled. "Vitamins. Imported. My friend sells them." I nodded, placed it back in her bag like it was nothing. But when she left the house, I took a small sample. Sent it to a private lab. Results would take a week. That night, she turned to me in bed and asked sweetly, "Have you thought more about that fishing trip with the guys? I think you should go. You've been so tense lately, babe. I just want you to relax." Her voice was soft. Her eyes shimmered like a lake at sunrise. But her heart, frozen. That was her plan. A fishing trip, a slip, a fall, a tragic accident. No witnesses, no questions. Too bad for her. I'm not the kind of fish that bites. The game had only just begun, because from the moment Ellie clinked her glass with Eduardo's and toasted to the accident she hoped would take me out, I stopped being the naive, laid-back husband she thought I was. I wasn't going to die. I was going to win. I became a survivor. With a plan, a purpose, and a cold anger simmering beneath the surface like steel pressed to fire. Meanwhile, Ellie still thought she was holding the winning hand. The micro cameras I planted worked in silence. Predators in disguise. In the kitchen, the living room, the supposed safe zones where Ellie and Eduardo whispered and plotted, had now become their stage. And I was the audience. Watching, waiting. Day 5, I captured my first smoking gun. "Ellie, we just have to make it look right. On the lake, with waves, some drinks. Who would ever question it?" Eduardo. "I don't like waiting, Ellie. You promised me. After that, we'll have everything." After that, they'd have me. In a casket. I archived the video, encrypted it, and uploaded a backup to a hidden email account. The password? The name of Ellie's childhood dog. The only thing she'd ever loved sincerely. From then on, I played spy. Every time Eduardo came over, I'd drop little bombs in plain sight. "Ran into my ex at the auto shop yesterday," I said once in front of both of them. "Still looks amazing." Eduardo twitched, just slightly. Another time I asked Ellie, "Eduardo seemed tense today. Everything okay at work?" This time it was Ellie's eyes that darted sideways. I was planting seeds, like spores of poison mushrooms in a flower bed. Let them grow, and soon they wouldn't be able to tell which truth belonged to whom. The following week, I staged a disappearance, packed a bag, shut off my phone, drove just far enough into the woods where I normally go fishing, left behind one faint tire track heading toward the lake. Later, when I checked the security cam footage, Ellie curled on the sofa, clutching her phone, calling Eduardo. Her voice trembled. "He's gone. No text, no calls. Maybe we don't have to do anything." Eduardo said nothing, but his face, pale as a sheet, they were spiraling. The next day, I left my laptop open, accidentally, with a drafted email to a lawyer. Subject: evidence, video linked, file attached, not sent, just visible. By afternoon, Ellie was spiraling. "You're hiding something from me, aren't you?" she asked. I smiled. "What?" "Nah, you're probably just imagining things." She laughed, but it was hollow. Her eyes betrayed her panic. The next morning, I received an email from the insurance company. "Confirmation of life insurance policy cancellation. Per your request." I left it wide open on the screen, then casually stepped out to make coffee. When I returned, she was standing over my laptop, frozen, white as bone. I asked gently, "So, you still want me to take that fishing trip?" Her voice cracked as she forced a smile. Maybe we should push it back." Eduardo started avoiding Ellie. And Ellie? She started searching for a backup plan. As for me, I was getting ready to flip the table. Ever since she saw the cancellation email for my life insurance policy, the air in the house shifted. She no longer played the doting wife. No more sweet glances, no more morning coffee, and, "How did you sleep, babe?" Instead, she watched me. Not like a wife watching her husband, but like a predator watching a wounded animal, wondering if it had caught on. What she didn't know was that I was watching her too, through eyes she couldn't see. Tiny cameras, one in the wall clock, one inside the night lamp, one tucked behind the teddy bear in the home office. And it was those little eyes that captured the conversation that would seal both their fates. Clip number 6, day 12, audio transcript. Ellie, he knows something. The way he talked yesterday, it was off. Eduardo, relax. He's not that clever, but if there's no insurance, we'll need a new plan. Ellie, no. I can't start over. I've bet everything on this. If we don't act soon, it's all going to fall apart. Every call, every message, every whisper between them, I recorded, backed up, and stored in 3 separate places. An external hard drive, hidden in a locked drawer at my best friend's office. A private Google Drive, disguised under the folder name, Tax Stuff 2018. A printed dossier, bound and sealed with my attorney, labeled Open Only If I'm Gone. But I didn't stop with audio and video. Remember that unmarked white powder I found in Ellie's purse? I had it tested. The result, a heavy-duty sedative, fast-acting, knocks you out cold within 10 minutes. Perfect for staging an accident. That's when I began planting doubt between them. Carefully, subtly, quietly. I left the lid off my vitamins, just enough to suggest someone had tampered with them. I accidentally left a draft email open on my laptop, just one line visible. Regarding my wife and the neighbor's murder plot, I sent Eduardo an anonymous text. She's messaging someone else too. You really think you're her only one? One night I pretended to video call a friend, left the webcam accidentally recording in the kitchen, then quietly slipped into the bathroom and waited. What I caught? Ellie whispering into her phone. He knows something, I'm sure. He's looking at me like he's seen it all. Eduardo, if he knows, why hasn't he gone to the cops? Or maybe he's waiting to catch us red-handed. Ellie hesitated. Maybe he's playing us. Both. I printed out the entire conversation, stuffed it in a sealed envelope labeled, To the Police Department, Open Only in Emergency. Then I mailed it. Priority mail, 7-day delivery. It's scheduled to arrive on the day I'm supposed to go fishing with the guys. If I don't come back, that envelope gets open. Ellie doesn't know. Eduardo doesn't know. But I know. This game is almost over. The night before the trip, the night before the fishing trip, Ellie was different. She grilled my favorite steak, played our old love songs from the early days, poured red wine, the kind we only saved for special occasions. I sat there calm, smiling, chatting, sipping, as if I didn't know that wine might be laced with powdered sedative, the same one I found in her purse, in that unmarked little bottle. But what Ellie didn't know is that I had already swapped our glasses. She took a sip from the other one, then looked at me, eyes sparkling with anticipation. You're still going on the trip with the guys, right? I think it's going to be unforgettable. Absolutely, I said with a smile. A trip I'll never forget. The next morning I packed my gear, a fishing rod, a light backpack, mostly just props. The friends I was supposed to meet had already been informed I wouldn't be showing up. Instead, I drove straight to my lawyer's office, where we began filing for an official divorce, accompanied by all the evidence, audio recordings, photos, timestamps, toxicology reports, and a clear, documented timeline of her plan to murder me. At the same time, the package I sent to the district police had arrived. Inside, a full dossier of everything she and Eduardo had plotted. I stepped away from the chessboard and let the law take the next move. That evening, my phone started to ring. Ellie, 13 missed calls, 5 texts, 3 voicemails, her voice frantic and cracking. Where are you? I called your friends. They said you never showed. Eduardo's freaking out. Why is the police calling him? Please, don't do this. Don't leave me like this. The next morning, officers knocked on Ellie's door. Eduardo was also brought in. Under pressure, he caved, gave them almost everything. On his phone, police found texts suggesting the plan. Knock him out. Push him into the stream. No one will ever know. Ellie denied it all at first. But after facing the recordings, the photos, the lab results, She broke. She signed the divorce papers in the interrogation room. No arguments, no assets, no parting words, just tears, and the hollow stare of someone who thought her husband would never find out. I moved into a small apartment near the city park. Quiet, sunny, the old house, listed for sale, under my name. The joint account, now split. Whatever Ellie once tried to drain is now nothing but a number, as empty as her life after the failed plot. 2 weeks later, I ran into Glinda, an old colleague from the office. She once handed me a warm coffee on the coldest day of the year. "You look different," she said. "Lighter." I smiled. That's what happens when you stop pretending to sleep beside a nightmare. I don't know what'll happen to Ellie and Eduardo. Probation, public disgrace, prison time. But I do know this. I survived, not just in body, but in soul. I am no longer the man who once lay in bed beside someone who saw him as a policy payout. Now I'm the one in control, the one who knows the truth, and chose to walk away at the exact right moment. When someone is blinded by greed, they forget. Silence isn't weakness. It's a strategy. And once that strategy is complete, no one escapes. Maybe we all believe betrayal only happens in movies, but sometimes it lives right inside our home, beside the person we once loved with everything we had. Life can shatter into pieces, but it's how we choose to face that destruction that defines who we are. If you've ever felt betrayed, if you've ever been made to feel less than, remember this: you deserve truth. You deserve peace. You deserve a life without lies. If this story hit you in any way, made you feel something, made you stop and think, or simply kept you hooked, don't forget to share it, because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear it. Subscribe so you never miss a real story, told with a real voice and real emotion. And if you want to help me keep telling these journeys, a simple click on the like button is more than enough to let me know you're still here. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story, where truth will always matter more than any beautiful lie.